there, and welcome to another edition of Capital City News, your connection to Salt Lake City government. I'm your host, Poonam Kumar, and I'm at the Utah State Capitol, which will become a very active place during the legislative session beginning on January 23rd. For this week's episode, we'll be talking to Salt Lake City Police Chief Mike Brown about something very near and dear to his heart. And our History Minute is about a famous silent actor named Mack Swain. But first, let's start with our legislative update and look back. The City Council has been working hard on its priorities for the 2017 state legislative session. Some priorities include funding for homeless facilities and services, affordable housing, watershed protection, internet sales tax, and more. Eve Winterfest returned to downtown Salt Lake City to ring in the new year with a 20-foot wide mirror ball drop. The multi-day celebration of art and culture featured events and activities for the entire family, ranging from bounce houses to live entertainment, laser shows, and more. Where Children Sleep is a new exhibit at the Leonardo, which reveals a series of photographs of children and their bedrooms from many different countries and circumstances. Mayor Biskupski attended the opening press event where she spoke about the importance of partnerships in addressing housing needs in the city. Salt Lake City and the Economic Development Corporation of Utah announced national outdoor products company Big Agnes, who produces award-winning sleeping bags and tents, will be expanding its operation along the Wasatch Front. The company's new domestic distribution center will be located at 1810 South, 4370 West in Salt Lake City. Making sure Salt Lake City is a welcoming city is a top priority here. Salt Lake City Police Chief Mike Brown talks to us about his department's commitment to ensuring safety for all residents.
Immigration is a hot topic right now, not only nationally, but locally here in Salt Lake City. And I have to say, following the election, we had some of our communities, some of our immigrant communities, very fearful and scared. And wondering what was going to happen with the immigration policies nationally as well as locally here in Salt Lake City. And so one thing that we've done very strong and very open and transparent is that we will not change our immigration policy. We will not go out and do federal immigration enforcement. I think that's important to tell those people who are actually keeping their kids home from school, that are afraid to really ask these important questions. And so I think as far as a police department and a city, we need to get out in front of this and let them know that, number one, we won't enforce it, and number two, we shouldn't enforce it. I mean, when you really think about it, immigration enforcement is a civil issue. It's a civil matter. Can you imagine your police department going out and enforcing tax laws? Well, it's almost the same. Why would we go out and enforce immigration? So, with that being said, we have worked so hard to develop trust and confidence within the communities, all communities here in Salt Lake City, and especially the immigrant communities. So if we were to go out and even hint that we were going to enforce immigration, that would destroy that trust and that confidence that we have worked so hard to build. If anybody has questions, if anybody is living in fear, if anybody needs to be reassured, I want them to know they can call me personally. They can call Chief Mike Brown. I will take their call. I will meet with them. We can have meetings. We can meet with our communities. We can set up meetings wherever you want to sit down and talk about this very important issue. I just want people to know that their chief and their police department stands behind them, and we're here to protect and serve all communities within Salt Lake City.
And now it's time for our History Minute.
Born in Salt Lake City in 1876, Moroni Mack Swain took an early interest in the theatrical arts. At the age of 6, he created his own show called Mack Swain's Mammoth Minstrels. At 8, he stole all of the linens in the house to create his own circus tent. By 15, he ran away from home to join a traveling minstrel show. His mother caught up to him by his first performance to take him back home to Salt Lake, but he was adamant that show business was going to be his life. To that end, he ended up one of the most familiar faces in Hollywood. After a number of stock appearances, he ended up at Keystone, making many comedies with them. There, he developed a character named Mr. Ambrose, who would get into all kinds of chases, and most films would end up with him getting a pie in the face. He was also one of the famous Keystone cops. It was at this studio where he met Charlie Chaplin and how he got the job playing Big Jim McKay in the film he's still most remembered for, Chaplin's The Gold Rush. In it, he plays a down-on-his-luck miner so hungry he imagines that Chaplin is good enough to eat. Swain worked in Hollywood up until 1935 when he retired to Washington State and passed away that same year. Today, Swain's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame can still be seen at 1500 Vine Street.
Well, that's it for this episode of Capital City News. Thanks for watching. For SLC TV, I'm Poonam Kumar, signing off from the beautiful Utah State Capitol building.